This is section 1.04 from Unit 1, Part 2, Measures of Spread Standard Deviation. Today I am, as in you are the student, using tools to calculate measures of spread so that I can find the standard deviation of a data set. I will know I have it when I can find and interpret the standard deviation of a data set. Specific TEKS we're looking at for today's lesson is 9B. Standard deviation. Standard deviation tells you how far, on average, every value in a data set is from the mean. So, for this example, let's say we have a line plot with the following numbers on 2 and 4, or the following plots on 2 and 4. We have 2 dots on 2, so that means we have 2 2s. We have 2 on 4, so that means we have 2 4s. Let's say we want to study this a little bit further and find the average, find the mean for this data set. So to find the mean, remember that you have to add up all the values in the data set and divide it by the number of values that we have. So we're going to have 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 4, which when you add them all up, it gives you 12. We have 4 data values here, so we were going to take 12 divided by 4 and get the average of 3. So the mean is 3. Standard deviation tells us how far from the average we are for a particular data points. So in the case of this example, how would you describe the standard deviation? These points 2 and 4 are a distance of 1 away from the mean, either left or right. It doesn't really matter too much. Each data value is a distance of 1 from the mean. The standard deviation excuse me, of the data set is about 1, meaning they deviate from the average about 1 standard deviation, 1 unit. Standard deviation tells us how far on average we are from the mean. In this case, we are 1 unit away for the number 2 and the number 4. So how do we calculate standard deviation? Standard deviation, there's a complicated statistical formula for it. S equals the square root of the sum of x minus x bar squared divided by n minus 1. X represents all the values of a data set. X bar represents the average of the data set. N represents the amount of values that we have in that data set. And then S represents standard deviation. We're not going to do all that. We're instead going to be using either your Desmos calculator or the TI-84 calculator. So those two. Okay? So we're going to start with Desmos, and then I'll explain how to use the TI-84 as well. So go to this link, and if you're on ClassKick, I have the link right there for y'all. So just click on that link and have it open. And then we're going to look for the specific standard deviation function. So I'm going to show y'all right here on this calculator. We're going to press the keypad, which is on mine. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right here. And we're going to look for the Functions tab right there. I believe it's, yeah, right here. Standard deviation. Let me go to the next slide to show y'all. So stdev is what we're looking for. Going back to my calculator right here, stdev is what we're going to click on. And we're going to enter the following list from before. 2, 2, 4, 4. So 2, 2, 4, 4. Close your parentheses. And it'll calculate the standard deviation, which is the amount of units that you would use to consider how far apart it is, how much it deviates from one point to the other. Standard deviation is 1.15 and some change. We'll talk about what that means in a little bit. Okay, for the TI-84, you're going to need to, if you have a TI-84, by the way, either through the school or by your own means, you're going to need to enter the data values into a list. So we're going to click Stat. There's a button that says Stat somewhere to the left of the left arrow. And we're going to hit 1 for Edit. There's a column, L1, that we're going to be entering all of the data. So we're going to enter 2. I'm going to clear this out. If there's any data in there, you're going to highlight L1. You're going to hit Clear and then Enter. And put in your new data numbers. Number list. 2, enter, 2, enter, 4, enter, 4, enter. Okay, so there's our data. We're then going to calculate the standard deviation by doing the following. We're going to press Stat, go to the right for Calc, and then hit 1 for 1 var stats, 1 variable stats. Hit Enter. Now, that L1 should already be there depending on what type of TI-84 you have, but if it's not, you're going to hit second stat to get the list option, the LIST, the list option, and you're going to choose L1. Okay, make sure L1 is there. Hit Enter or Enter twice, and it should come up with your standard deviation. And it should be this S right here. Let me go to the next slide. And then there it is. SX. Standard deviation is 1.1547 and some change. All right, so that's how to use the TI-84 calculator. Now, let's look at an example. We're going to use the calculator to find the standard deviation of the data set. So here we have some numbers. Either use Desmos or use the TI-84, whichever. I'm going to show you all both for this example. Okay, so if we're going to use Desmos, take out your Desmos calculator. Okay, and then just to show you all the process again, we're going to click on this keyboard and go to Functions. From Functions, we're going to scroll to Statistics and click STDev, Standard Deviation. And then we're going to enter our list. 7, 8, make sure there are commas in between, 8, 9, 13, and 15. And then close the parentheses. And there is our standard deviation, 3.22 about, which, yeah, should show up right there, 3.22. Now, if we want to use instead the TI-84, we do the following. You're going to press Stat, and then you're going to hit 1 for Edit. Let's clear out these numbers by highlighting L1, hitting Clear, not Delete. Please do not do Delete. That's going to change your, that's going to mess it up. But if you do happen to hit Delete, to reset your calculator, you're going to press second plus 7, 1, 2. And it'll reset everything. But anyways, go to Edit, and then you're going to type these numbers in. 7, enter, 8, enter, etc., etc. All the way up to 15. Okay, now that we got the list into L1, we're going to calculate by pressing Stat, going to the right to Calc, hitting option 1 for 1 var stats, 1 variable stats. Make sure L1 is there. If it's not there, press second Stat, hit 1 for L1 or Enter. Hit Enter once or a couple of times, and then you should see SX equals 3.22. Standard deviation. That's our answer. Okay, let me try and explain what standard deviation means in the context of this problem here. So I'm going to take a number line. I'm going to put it right here in the middle, if I can. Excuse me. And I'm going to list out these numbers. Okay? There we go. Okay, so we have the numbers 7, 8, 9. We have other numbers, but I'm going to put 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's do 16, and let's say we have 6 over here on the left. All right. So for our data set, we have the numbers 7, 8. We have 8 again. We have 9. We have 13. We have 15, and I think that's it. Okay. And then we had our average, which I'm going to do in green. Our average, let's see. Okay, from this bar right here, it's X bar is 10, so the average is 10. 10 is the average. Now, if I want to do the average, all I have to do is add up all the numbers. 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 13 plus 15, okay, which is 60, divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So divide that by 6, and my average is 10. Okay, so 10 is the average. Standard deviation is 3.22. So if I were to travel 1, 2, 3, so let's say S equals 3.22, it would be a little bit more past this 7 right here. So this would be considered 1 standard deviation, meaning in order for it to be 1 unit, 1 standard deviation away, it needs to travel 3.22. Okay? So the 7 is about 1 standard deviation away. This 8 is less than 1 standard deviation. Same thing with the 9. Now, the 13 over here, 1, so right here is the middle. 1, 2, 3 is about 1 standard deviation away. Now, if I were to go another 1, 2, 3, again, about, because this is 3.22, the 16 would be 2 standard deviations away from the average, okay? Meaning how far away it is from the number 10. 13 is about 1 standard deviation away from the 10. And remember that standard deviation in this context of the problem is about 3 units away. So 13 is considered to be 1 standard deviation. So is number 7 on the other way. And then 16 is 2 standard deviations away. So about 6 and some change units away from the average. Okay. Now, you'll learn more about this type of stuff in statistics and other classes. Practical math, we're only going to just touch on what this is and how to calculate it. Okay. But it's basically showing us how far away it is from the average on a data set. Now, what that data set is, no clue. Depends on the context of the data, but it just tells you like how it deviates from the average. That's it. That's it for the example. All right, here's the U-try. If you would like, go ahead, pause the video, and try this on your own using the steps that I've given y'all up here. Move these boxes to make sure you're entering everything into the calculator correctly. Make sure y'all practice these problems as much as possible so that y'all can get the steps ingrained and ready to go when y'all take the quizzes or tests. Okay, so if y'all can, go ahead and try this out on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to continue on and show y'all how to do this. All right, starting with Desmos. Starting with Desmos. To enter this list, click the up arrow, go to Functions, find stdev under Statistics, and then enter these following numbers: 2, 5, 7, 10, 16. And there we go. There's our standard deviation, 5.34 if we round to 2 decimal places. Okay, and then there it is. If you want to do this using the TI-84, press Stat, hit Enter for edit, clear out L1 by highlighting L1, hit clear and then enter enter the following. 2, enter, 5, enter, 7, and so on and so forth, all the way to 16. Okay, you're going to press Stat, go to the right for Calc, hit Option 1 for one variable stats, make sure L1 is on the list. If not, you're going to press second Stat L1, and then hit Enter once or a few times, and then you'll see the exact same like Desmos. 5.34 about if you round to 4 decimal places. Right there. And that's it for you try number 1. Okay, you try number 2, same thing. Go through the problem. It's multiple choice, so try to see if you can figure it out on your own from here. Which data set has the same standard deviation as the data set 11358? So, it's asking you a few things. First, find the standard deviation of this problem in that paragraph, and then see which one will match that exact one right there. Okay, so you're going to have to do this multiple times to figure out which one is the same standard deviation as the original in the word problem. Okay, so move the boxes if you want some hints or to check yourselves. Choose whichever option you want to do, but otherwise, pause the video and go through this on your own. If not, I'm going to go ahead and solve this problem for you. All right, so let's go through Desmos. It's honestly a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to get the standard deviation function, go into statistics, stdev, and then entering these numbers, 11358. Oh, whoops. I forgot the commas. There we go. And then parentheses. So 2.9. 2.96 is about what the standard deviation is for this. Now, I'm going to be looking for which one of these is the same. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. Now I'm going to enter these and see which one will come out to be the same. So 1, 2, 6, 6, 9. No. So let's try letter B. 2, 2, 4, 6, 9. Yes, that one works, but for the sake of the problem, I'm going to go through the others. So B works, but let's go through the others. 9, 8, 9, 8, 9. Nope, that does not work. So let's try the last one. 1, comma, 1. Whoops. 1, comma, 1. Did it again. Comma, 2, comma, 2. That one doesn't work. So the only one that made sense was letter B. And if y'all want to go through the same thing using the TI-84, be my guest. I'm not going to show that, but I've shown it in the previous problem. So if you want to figure out how to do the TI-84, use the TI-84 for this problem. Just rewind the video a little bit, but that's it. That's it for problem. You try number 2 for this problem. Okay. That's it for 1.04 part 2. If you have any questions, let me know. My phone number and email are right there. Just text me or call me if you have any problems. After 5 p.m., I tend not to answer because I'm off of work. But if it's an emergency, I will try to get back with y'all as soon as I can. Okay. Otherwise, contact me here. If y'all need anything, let me know. Take it easy, y'all.